Good morning. It is day 3 of Deco Summit. Look at how pretty this is, guys. So pretty. That might actually be too bright, but beautiful, beautiful sunrise this morning. And the camera's fogging. This humidity I am not used to.
This pricing method that I'm about to go over is applicable to essentially every apparel decoration method that is out there, because the framework and the actual concept is common. There's a common denominator that spans across any decoration method you have, whether it's screen printing, embroidery, sublimation. It doesn't really matter. So let's kind of jump right in then. What's the big deal about pricing? All right, that's actually one of the most common questions I get, if you guys can believe that. A lot of people ask on my live streams or on any of our social media comments. They really ask, hey, I'm getting into the business, how do I price my items? That's literally one of the most common questions. And it's natural, right? Especially if you're starting a business, you are thinking about, how do I price this? I have no idea about what to do with embroidery or screen printing or whatever the case is. And your natural instinct is, okay, now that I've invested in this machine, what do I do next? Have you ever heard of the stitch count rule?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? How many of you have heard the stitch count rule? Okay, so quite a few. And this is why we try so hard to dispel this notion of the stitch count rule, because this is something that's so common that we hear this all the time, because this rule is kind of like rule of thumb, has been around for so many years. And it's been passed down from other embroiderers, and people kind of use this because it's easy. So the stitch count rule is something that's most of you have heard of if you're in the embroidery industry at one point or at some point in your career. And basically it says, you know, dollar per 1,000 stitches, right? That's how most of you understand it, right? Whether that's $1 or $1.50 or $2, that's not relevant, but essentially it's a set dollar amount per 1,000 stitches. That's what the stitch count rule is. So this is an example of using the stitch count rule and what could happen. If you run through a real life example of the stitch count rule, this is what happens. Let's say you want to price a cap and you get a design that's about 5,000 stitches. You digitize it, that's what the digitizing software ends up spitting out, and it's 5,000 stitches. Okay, great. Per the stitch count rule, if we're doing $1 per 1,000 stitches, how much do we come out on the price of that cap? 5, right? Super simple. All right, so $5, and then you plus the cost of the cap, or maybe you add on a little bit of margin to the cap. But take it as this example: $5 for a $5,000 or 5,000 stitch design, plus the wholesale cost of the cap, $2, $3, whatever that is, right? That's your hard cost, though. You're buying that from a wholesale company or retail if you don't have a wholesale account, and therefore just passing that on to the customer. And you end up charging, you know, in this example, $7 to $8, you know, maybe a little more if you're adding on, you know, if your cap is more expensive, whatever. But that part of the cap cost is a wash. You're just, you know, charging what you would normally pay as a wholesaler, maybe with a little bit of a margin. Ends up being $7 to $8 per cap, maybe a little bit more, and that ends up being, you know, for 15, 20 minutes to do each one, ends up being around, you know, $12 per hour after you kind of break everything down. Like, would you do this business for $12 an hour? You can go to McDonald's and get the same thing. So why did you just start your business and invest, you know, tens of thousands into machinery to make $12 an hour? When someone asks online, hey, I'm just getting in, how do I price this? And you'll see 10 comments about stitch count rule. I do $1 per 1,000. I do $1.50 per 1,000. Whatever it is, right? Depends on your area. Oh, you might do, you know, $1 per 1,000 if it's more competitive. You can do 2 if it's less competitive, or the standard of living is higher in that city. But it ends up being the same, you know, just a flat one-size-fits-all rule or one-size-fits-all dollar amount per 1,000 stitches. They're treating every stitch as equal. But that's the wrong way, as I just mentioned. Treating every stitch as being equal, obviously, you know, if you're actually in the business and you're doing this, not every stitch is created equal. Whether it's on a cap, whether it's on a shirt, whether it's on a jacket, it's not going to be the same, because, you know, that stitch might take longer to do, it might take shorter to do, it might be more complex, like using a metallic thread. that is a little bit more brittle, so there might be more thread breaks. But they're all counted as one stitch in the actual digitizing. So if you just use a flat out rule, you're kind of bucketing all of those different types of stitches into one category. Some other tips, do your own digitizing. I talked to a few people over the course of this weekend. Obviously if you're starting out, I would recommend that you outsource your digitizing and actually just hire a professional digitizer for pretty affordable amount. A left chest logo might be $10, $15, right? And outsource that. But if you are an experienced embroiderer and you kind of already mastered the craft of doing the actual production of the items, you might want to think about doing your own digitizing. That's part of the reason why we have so many digitizing classes this weekend. All right, so these are the key takeaways. The wrong way to price is using the stitch count rule. I hope I've made that clear. Right? And if there's a similar stitch count rule in screen printing, or I don't know what the specific rule name is called, but I'm sure, and I've heard of people talking about just this like blanket, one size fits all type of rule for other industries, right? For other verticals of apparel generation. So I'm sure that they're called something else, but I call it the stitch count rule is prominent in embroidery. I'm sure it's the same in direct to garment and other things, and people have these blanket rules. So don't use these blanket rules when they don't take into account the time, because across all the decoration methods, whatever you're doing, the common denominator is time. I hope I made that clear.
Appreciate you guys showing up. You guys get the special VIP treatment today because you got a few of you, one of me. Hopefully, do you all do direct to garment right now? No? No? Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to geek out on it. Puke a whole bunch of stuff up, and if you have questions, just interrupt me, feel free. And it is probably one of the most important aspects of the entire direct-to-garment process. Like I said yesterday, 80% of all your direct-to-garment issues pretty much will stem back to pre-treating and bad pre-treatment, not enough pre-treatment, not curing it correctly, etc. If the machine is running well and you have a good nozzle check and you have a bad print, it's typically the shirt or the pre-treated side, not the printer. So keep the printer happy, do the pre-treating correct, everything will be good. So we'll start in here. Everybody always asks, what's the correct amount of pre-treatment to apply to the garment? Everybody wants the simple push the button, make the shirt come out happy and pretty. That's not necessarily the case. All shirts are not created equal. And it's interesting because, as I said yesterday, higher quality shirts will require less pre-treatment. There's a reason for that. Typically, it's a higher grade cotton, it's a higher thread count, which will give you a smoother surface to apply the pre-treatment to and the ink on. It's all about making money and being efficient, especially in direct-to-garment. So what you can do to lower your cost and still maintain what your selling point, you're going to end up making more money, which is, I'm hoping, why you're doing this, outside of enjoying the process of direct-to-garment printing. And all pre-treatments aren't the same. There is no real universal pre-treatment. Everybody wants that magic bullet, magic pre-treat that just does everything. I haven't seen it, haven't come across it in all of my dealings. Anybody tells you there is one, I'm very skeptical of that. One side is pre-treated, the other side is not. You can tell a massive difference in the reds are actually more red, the blues are true blue instead of being a mushy, muted, and the details are a lot more crisp and sharp.
I have a question.
Sure.
Sorry. I do sublimation, and I've been looking into like DTG so that I could do darker colored shirts. So what would be, for just white shirts specifically, what would be the pros and cons of DTG versus just sublimation?
Exactly. You really wouldn't need the sublimate. Now you can,
yeah.
And sublimation is actually a whole different animal because of the way the fibers open up and sort of trap the dyes. Whereas this, it's going to sit more on top of the shirt, but you can see the difference in that. It looks like sublimation.
Yeah.
You get, with this here, that gets better wash durability.
Okay.
You may get a little bit of a loss, you can just throw it up here. But it's still going to look incredibly good long term. Now, the neat thing with direct-to-garment is it allows you to do the cotton shirts and other things, especially with white ink, whereas with sublimation you can't do that. But everything has its place.
Yeah.
Okay. I joke about it, it's like DTF or direct-to-garment or screen printing. Or,
yeah,
it's
there's
like,
pros and cons with everything, so it's, yeah.
And that's sort of where, what I like to try to do is educate people, and it's not like, oh, you can only do direct-to-garment. You can do stuff that looks like sublimation. I mean, it really looks nice. And for those that don't have sublimation, it gives them that ability to do it.
Yeah.
You could use that for screen printing or direct-to-garment printing. And we've tested it where we've run it through the conveyor dryer for like 6, 7, 8 minutes at 500 plus degrees, still no dye migration. Typical, the migration will start right around 290 to 300 degrees. You'll start to dye migrate up and out. But
I have another question about sublimation versus this. So when I sublimate my shirts, you know, they're always 100% polyester, obviously. Sometimes I'll do a blend, but I have to lint roll them really, really good, because then if I don't, I'll get those little blue lines when I heat press. So do you have to do that before you pre-treat?
No. You won't run into that issue because of those wonderful blue sublimational worms. I hated that. Because it was always, because you can see them all over. It's like, what the heck is up with this? So with direct-to-garment, no.
Okay.
You want, basically what you're doing is you're physically putting a layer of ink on top of the fibers. Okay. And you're trapping it. That's why you want a nice smooth surface as possible. Heat press it, get it smooth.
That's what I was wondering. Like, if they're trapped under there, are they?
If you have a decent layer of white ink, you're trapping them.
Okay.
And if your ink is cured properly, it's not going to.
So even like on a polyester shirt outside of where you pre-treated, do you still have to like lint roll that?
No.
No? Okay.
No. You shouldn't, even on polyester, like our RTP, the red ones, you don't. Really, all you have to do is heat press the area so that all the moisture is removed. And this one here has been washed a couple times. You can see, you know, still looks phenomenal. Okay. So no, you don't have to do anything with that because it's not going to sublimate per se, because you're not really doing anything. You're just heating up the shirt. Okay. And we're not dealing with that. Now, when you use a lint roll or two, you're pulling a lot of the fibers back up. Yeah. And we're trying to work on a smooth, I joked yesterday, it was sort of like photo glossy paper versus regular copy paper, which is going to give you the best print on an inkjet printer, you know, your desktop inkjet printer. Obviously the smoother photo glossy paper. Yeah. So lint rolling is going to create more of this, the happy fiber stuff, which is bad for direct-to-garment. Really bad.
That makes sense.
You are totally welcome to manhandle these. They're here for everybody to take as close a look as they want. And then ask as many questions as you want.
Thank you. Holy cow. Seems insane. Hello. Jeez, look at all of those stitches. Oh my goodness. And the leather sleeves. Wow. What does the inside look like? There's a zipper that you open to be able to embroider on. Here's all the leather. So the different leather colors.
Starting with screen printing and embroidery machines, we had 34 of them at one time, and that was the high point, and then we started scaling back to find the most profitable thing, to find our niche in the business, and this is it. We make far more profit now doing just Letterman jackets than we ever did running screen printing and 34 machines and having 31 employees. Of course, yeah, we did a lot of volume then, but now with just 2 employees, my wife and I, we make a lot more profit. Explore other products. That is, what are the other additional add-ons that you can do to, I don't know, make this customer more profitable? Like a direct-to-garment t-shirt with the design that they had designed on the back of the jacket, and put it on the t-shirt and sell it to mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, for each of them to wear at the football game or the basketball game. Hats, because everybody's gonna think, since you did this amazing varsity jacket, you can easily do polo shirts for my car business, or hats for my lawn care business, or whatever it may be. Everything else is going to seem much easier to the customer, and so the sell is going to be much easier to the customer.
So what he was speaking to was, here's the guy's last name. This is
A kid that got shot.
Okay, a kid that got shot after a game. There was a group of friends, and one of the kids died. So this was homage to him. He was number 1. That's his school.
The kid was number 5 that died.
Yeah. So we call those honor patches. This is their grandma, which I thought was so cute. And you can get a plain foot, or you can put your, times on it, or the races that people win, or whatever. The year, always the year. Often, I don't see them here, but often they get an American flag patch. Some kids will now add an American flag, and then like their heritage. I'm also Irish.
Puerto Rican, just that we have every flag now.
Yeah.
In the world and in the United States.
So that is how you get the price up.
Okay, so here is the next step, because we just the customer found us, or we found the customer. So we're going to start really drilling down on what they want. What are their colors? They aren't quite sure, like what color red is it? Is it cardinal red? Is it maroon? Is it dark maroon? There's just so many versions of red, same with blue. We'll find it on their website, yes.
Don't click off this. How many of you have a brick and mortar shop? Anybody? You have a store. The rest of you out of your home. Okay, fine. You still need to know ahead of time if you're going to have a school person come into your home, or if you're going to just talk to them over the web, or however you're doing it. Just email, it's fine. You need to know about your local schools. You should never be asking, so what's your mascot?
Right. That's so true. My kids growing up, I always told them, this was a thing that I don't know, we just always told them. Act like you've been there. And if you do, if you're comfortable, if you have the answers before they have the questions, it is so much easier to make the sell. Much easier.
And it sounds like you've done it a million times.
Yes,
so if you're
right.
like, okay, so I'm just going to use our kids' high school. So you're Del Oro, so you're the Golden Eagles, not the regular Eagles. And so did you want the black body with the black sleeve, or did you,
Or do you want the natural sleeve?
Right.
So here is where, when we're drilling down, asking the customers these detailed kind of questions, this is where our experience really shines. So, like number 2, emphasizing the correct shade of color. Learn more about the customer, thinking outside the box, so yeah, I know that rugby isn't a school-sanctioned sport, but did you play a club rugby team? Because we can put a patch on there for that. And then, of course, showcasing our existing body of work, which is going to be, you know, shown on our website or on our Instagram or Facebook or something like that.
Because in speaking to them, we don't just ask everybody if they play rugby. If they say, well, yeah, I played rugby, but that wasn't at school, or I'm on the skeet shooting team, but that wasn't at school.
Oh, we've done so many jackets where we did skeet shooting on it.
Yeah.
There's a $50 pack.
See if I can show this without my camera fogging up. It is just pouring today. Absolutely pouring. See, downtown Miami, you can barely see it. See, there we go, a little bit. It's absolutely pouring. Seems like it has been all day. I mean, I've been in the, you know, the conference rooms all day, but every time I peeked out like into the lobby, it just looked just pouring. I actually ran up to my room to eat something real quick. I grabbed a salad this morning from the little cafe thing that's down there where you get coffee, because yesterday, like, there were like 3 or 4 different conferences that got out at the same exact time. The line, I'm not even kidding you, was like 40 people deep and I wasn't waiting. So this morning I went and got a salad, brought it back up to my room. Ooh, thunder. Brought it back up to my room to put in the fridge so that come lunchtime I would have something to eat. So I'm just up in my room having lunch right now. Getting ready to go back for the next session. I don't know where my schedule is, but the next session is, I think I'm doing a hat hooping demo. I don't remember. But yeah, so the day 3 is almost, so day 3 is just about halfway over. And yeah, go home tomorrow. This weekend has just flown by, absolutely flown by. But yeah, so I will finish my lunch and show you guys the rest of day 3.
And this stitch out guide, are all of them, are there some that are like messed up intentionally or just, okay. So there'll be some that'll be intentionally messed up so you can see the ideal stitch guide. What you want is, you want the bobbin to thread ratio to be 1/3 from thread, bobbin, thread. So,
And then the bobbins.
so
this yellow one's ideally what you want.
that one, I had a little bit of fun with that. Just like we did yesterday.
I already got the hoop.
You got the hoop ready?
That's a 5x5, right?
Yeah. It's a 5.5, right?
So skinny. So they've been having digitizing classes the whole weekend. So it's been
right? If you're doing it in, but in this one, you're gonna have to do that little trick that I taught you.
Technically, kind of like a fitted hat. Like a version of it. But yeah, you can. That's no problem. Put this back here. Any other questions?
So day 3 is just about done. Everybody's just waiting for the last closing remarks. They're setting up the room now and are going to do like the raffle and everything else.
I personally had a blast. I hope you two are good. I hope that you came here and you leave empowered, that you feel full of passion, not only for your business, but in yourself, that you know what the next step is. Maybe you came in here having no idea what you were going to do tomorrow, or you had no idea what you were going to do to take your business to the next step. But you came here, you spoke to others in the industry, you've received insight. I hope that creativity has been renewed, has been sparked in each one of you, and that before you know it, you're making jackets like this.
I learned a lot here at Deco Summit. I am having a lot of fun.
It's very informative.
For me, is learning the new things that I didn't think I could do when I brought up the things.
throughout the weekend is well worth the trip.
Everybody who I've worked with has been super sweet, super kind. I've seen some amazing stuff from some amazing people, and I just really want to learn how to do it all.
There's a large community of people, very knowledgeable individuals that are willing to help you along the way. I'm hoping to work with Ricoma in a lot of different ways. So.
And I just want to thank y'all. I know this is day one, y'all, but listen, I took a break and I went to my room. I went on my website. I got some stuff done today. I shut my phone off. I say, don't call me. My kids come, don't call me. Okay? I'm genuine. Everybody's talking. They're sharing information. But I'm going to go because I preach all day. But thank y'all again.
How many of you feel a little bit like this? Yeah? Yeah. Right? It's a kind of information overload a little bit. And every year I get, the same type of feedback is, wow, this is so much information, so much information. The one thing that I tell everyone is if you just take one piece of key takeaway, just one relationship that you've built here, one key takeaway that can build your business, that you're going to execute on, the entire trip is worth it, right? Because if that one thing can drive your business to the next level, gain you another $100,000 in revenue in the next year, gain you another $50,000 in revenue in the next 6 months, whatever that case is, that will be well worth the trip. And as I mentioned in the beginning, while these takeaways are super valuable and can kind of give you the framework and the frame of mind to think about your business and perhaps grow your business, they won't do you any good if you actually don't take action. And this is something that is super important because there's a wealth of information, people feel overloaded and overwhelmed with all that information, and then when they get back, they don't take action. Right? You might have learned a lot of things, but you're not putting it into action and actually executing and implementing it. I always tell our staff here, it could be a brilliant idea, and you can give that same idea to 10 different people, and guess what? It will come out in 10 different ways. Why? Because of execution. So this is the brief exercise that we're going to do. Take out a pen and paper, or just take out your phone, right? And go to the notes and write this down. And I really want you guys to do this because now it's solidified, it's written, and it actually puts you in the frame of mind to think about what is it that you're actually going to do. So by blank, I will do this by doing this. So the simple example that we give at the bottom there, by this date, I will achieve this measurable goal by taking this action or this strategy that you can implement. So by next month, right, by November 1st, I will build my website by hiring a designer.
I want to thank you for your time, for investing in yourselves. I can't wait to see everything that you guys accomplish. I can't wait to see you guys next year. Most likely some of you guys will be in the panel, so that's going to be exciting to see that growth. I can't wait to see your Instagrams and everything that you guys are going to create. So yeah, thank you and welcome to the Ricoma family.
Okay guys, so that is a wrap on Deco Summit. Day 3 just ended. I just got back up to my room and I had such a fun weekend. This was absolutely amazing. So thank you Ricoma for reaching out to me and seeing if I wanted to come and for asking me to be on the panel. It was so much fun. I don't know that I really should have been on the panel because I'm so small scale compared to everybody else that was up there. But I know that's you know, what is good is, you know, showing small scale shops versus large scale shops, and so it was really good. There was a really good variety of people, but I got to meet a lot of you guys, and you guys were so amazing. You made me feel so loved, and honestly a way bigger deal than I really am. But you guys were so sweet, so welcoming. I loved meeting all of you. So if I met you at Deco Summit, make sure you comment down below so that we can connect, because I'm terrible with names. So make sure you comment on this video and say hi so that we can connect, or follow me on Instagram. If you don't know, from my community tab, I do have a new Instagram. It's Kayla Creasy, all smushed together, one word, and then I think it's _YT for Kayla Creasy YouTube, because my other, just Kayla Creasy, is my personal account. So make sure you follow the one that has YT on it, and don't send me a request for the other one because I want to prove it. So follow my public one. and I'll leave that link down below too. But Deco Summit Day 3 was so fun. They had a raffle, and I was really bummed I didn't win the heat press, but that's okay. It went to a great person that I was talking to all night last night, who, by the way, said I lived under, Kelly, embroidery nurse, and I lived under a rock because we didn't know who Bad Bunny was. So, sorry. But I learned who Bad Bunny was at Deco Summit, so that was a great takeaway. I think Kelly said she was going to embroider a Bad Bunny like kitchen towel, I think. So make sure you watch out for that too. But it was so great. I met so many people. I met Katrina from Katrina's Graceful Creations. I met Adub. I met Joe at Heart and Hustle Printing. I met Kelly from Embroidery Nurse, and I met so many other people. I didn't get to meet Adelaida in person, but I did see her up there on the panel, and she had some great information. My mind is just like exactly like that emoji that Henry showed in the Deco Summit closing remarks. So all in all, it was just an absolute great weekend. I'm so glad that I came out and you know, took all the classes, even classes that like don't necessarily benefit me like right now in the short term. Like I did a couple DTG classes even though I don't have a DTG printer, and learned about pre-treatments and all that stuff. And so it was really, really, really good, except for the digitizing class that I told you guys I walked out of. So I think I told you guys that anyways. I don't know what I have said and hadn't said in these videos. As of right now, I've only been able to edit day 1 because my laptop says that storage is full. So I don't know what I have and haven't said for day 2. So if I didn't say that in day 2, I ended up walking out of the digitizing class because I was just so far behind. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little vlog of each day at Deco Summit. It was really fun doing more like vlogging style type videos. Obviously that's not my normal thing, but this was really, really fun, and it was a really fun change. So anyways, thank you again to Ricoma, and thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.